Hello friends, I welcome you all on my YouTube channel Rasayan Setu. So friends, in today's video, we are going to discuss previous year questions of coordination chemistry which was asked in your IIT JAM 2017 exam. Okay, so let's start. Now see, this is your first question and it says nitrosyl ligand binds to D metal atom in linear and band fashion and behaves respectively as, and you have four options. Either it will behave NO plus or NO minus, or both NO plus or both NO minus. This is your all four options. Okay, so let's do the solution of this question. Okay, so in this question friends, we talk about your nitrosyl ligand. Means NO. Okay, now friends, when you talk about your cationic nitrosyl ligand, it can adopt a linear geometry in when it binds with your metal ion. So when a nitrosyl ligand with positive charge can bind with your metal atom, then it will adopt a linear geometry. So your cationic nitrosyl ligand, that is NO plus, can adopt a linear geometry. Okay friends, but as you see friends, when we talk about anionic nitrosyl ligand, it means NO minus, it can accept a 2 electrons from metal and can adopt a bent geometry. Okay, so remember that, but it can adopt a anionic 2 electronic configuration. With bent geometry by the oxidation of metal. Here you can see that anionic 2 electronic configuration. These 2 electrons on NO minus ligand will come from your metal. So metal will be oxidized in +2 form, and NO will be NO will be reduced in minus form, and it can convert into NO plus to NO minus, and by this conversion its geometry will convert from linear to bent. Okay, so when nitrosyl can bind with metal in plus form, you see here linear geometry of molecule. Suppose the number of electrons of metal in this condition is n. Okay, now what we talk, that it accepts 2 electrons from metal. So it means metal can donate electrons to nitrogen, and because of this the one pair of electrons can shift from nitrogen to oxygen. Okay, so after this the geometry should be this type, that is band geometry, and you know in band geometry it will be in minus state. Correct friends? And here when the number of electron of metal is n, here number of electron is -2, because 2 electrons are shifted from metal to your nitrogen. So according to this condition, NO plus have linear and NO minus have band geometry. So your option number B is the correct answer for this question. See friends, NO plus and NO minus and linear and band geometry. Okay, so option B is your correct answer for this question. Okay, now we move towards next question. See, it says the correct order of wavelength of absorption of the chromium complex is, and you have 4 complexes and you must find the correct order of their respective wavelength of absorption, that is lambda max. Okay, now we can solve the solution. See, as we talk about your wavelength of absorption or lambda max, how can it be related with your ligand field strength? So friends, see, when we talk about lambda max, the weak ligand is bonded with chromium member, then it requires higher wavelength of absorption. Okay, so as the ligand strength decrease, its value of lambda max will increase. This is the relation between your ligand field strength and lambda max. It is, they both are inversely correlated. Okay, so we can write that when weak ligand is bonded with metal, or in this case chromium metal, then it requires higher wavelength of absorption. So friends, when you find the value of lambda max, first you should find the order of the ligand strengths. Okay, and here the order of ligand strength is fluorine, H2O, ethylene diamine and CN. This is a strength order of your ligands which are present in your complexes. Okay, so it means the order of wavelength of absorption is what? The opposite order. Okay, the fluorine is weakest ligand, so it requires highest wavelength of absorption. Understood friends? So your order of lambda max will be C. Highest order of lambda max is CrF63, then CrH2O whole 6 3 plus, then CrEn ethylene diamine whole thrice 3 plus, then CrCn whole 6 3 minus. This is the order of your lambda max, and you can relate with all options that your option number A can match this with this order. Okay, this order can be matched with your option A, so your option A will the correct answer for this question. Okay, so you must know the relation between lambda max and your ligand field strength. It can be inversely correlated. Okay friends, now we move towards next question. Okay friends, now see, this is our next question, and it says Jahn-Teller distortion is observed in octahedral complexes with d electron configuration of, and you have four options: d5 high spin, d5 low spin, d6 high spin or d6 low spin. Okay, and friends, remember this is your multiple select question. It means you can select more than a one option, or here more than a one will be correct answer. Okay, so let's do the solution of this question. Now see, as we talk about friends, the Jahn-Teller distortion, it will be two types. There will we have two types of Jahn-Teller distortion. One is significant Jahn-Teller distortion, and another one is non-significant Jahn-Teller distortion. And what is the difference between that? See, the significant Jahn-Teller distortion is when your Eg orbitals are unsymmetrically filled. Okay, as you know that Jahn-Teller distortion can be shown when your orbitals are unsymmetrically filled, and in octahedral complexes you have two set of orbitals, okay, T2g and Eg. So when Eg orbitals are unsymmetrically filled, then there is a significant John-Taylor distortion, and non-significant John-Taylor distortion is when T2g orbitals are unsymmetrically filled. When T2g orbitals are unsymmetrically filled. Okay. So when you observe a John-Taylor distortion, first you observe the filling of Eg or T2g orbitals. Either it will be symmetrically filled or unsymmetrically filled, and when they are unsymmetrically filled, there is a John-Taylor distortion, and if unsymmetrically filling is present in Eg, then there is significant, and if unsymmetrically filling in T2g, there will be non-significant John-Taylor distortion. So you check in all conditions that when we talk about D5 high spin, the electronic configuration is T2G3 Eg2, which is symmetrically configuration, so they can't show John-Taylor distortion. When we talk about D5 low spin, so in D5 low spin, the electronic configuration is T2G5, and T2G5 is what type of configuration? C. They are unsymmetrically filled, it means it show non-significant John-Taylor distortion. Now we talk about D6 high spin. See, D6 high spin electronic configuration is T2G4 Eg2. So here you also observe that T2G4 is a unsymmetrically filling condition. So it will also show your non-significant John-Taylor distortion. And we talk about D6 low spin. So D6 low spin means T2G6, which is again a symmetrically filled condition, so it can't show your John-Taylor distortion. So among your 4 options, your option number B and C, that is D5 low spin and D6 high spin, can show non-significant John-Taylor distortion. So in this question you can select your option number B and C as a correct answer, both as a correct answer. Okay friends, so remember, when you select both these options, then it will consider for your full marks. Okay, if you select only option B or option C, then it will consider as a wrong answer, wrong attempt. Okay, so remember in your multiple select question, so here your option number B and C is the correct answer. Now we move towards our next question, and see, it says the number of unpaired electrons in K2 NiF6 is, and it is a numerical ability type, numerical answer type question friends. You can put the value. Okay, what is the value of number of unpaired electrons in this complex? Okay, so we can solve the solution of this question. See, we have complex that is K2 NiF6. Okay, so here K2 is in +2 and NiF6 is -2. So we talk about NiF6 -2 ion. Now see friends, when we talk about NiF6 -2 ion, here the oxidation state of your nickel is +4, and nickel +4 means 3d6 configuration. 3d6 means this configuration. Okay, now when ligands can interact with your nickel +4 metal atom, then what happens? As you know that the fluorine is a weak field ligand, so there will be no pairing occurs in your nickel +4 atom. So 6 fluorine atoms can use outer s, p and d orbitals for hybridization. Okay, because no pairings occur, so fluorine atoms can use outer s, p and d orbitals for make a bond with your nickel +4 atom, this type. and your observed hybridization is sp3d2. Okay, as you see in this figure. Okay, so it means in this condition nickel have 4 unpaired electrons, which was asked in your question. So it means number of unpaired electron in this complex is 4. Okay, but friends, this is a wrong answer. In this complex the number of unpaired electrons is 0, not 4. So remember, K2NiF6 is an exceptional case in which hybridization is D2sp3 instead of sp3d2. Okay, so because here in complex D2sp3 hybridization present instead of sp3d2, and the reason behind this that your oxidation number of metal is very high, that is +4. Okay, and because of this it increases the energy gap between your T2g and Eg orbital, and that's why uh, first pairing will occur, then after electron will enter your empty d orbitals. Okay, so in D2sp3 hybridization present instead of sp3d2 because the oxidation number of metal increases the energy gap between T2g and Eg orbitals. Okay, and because of this increment your value of delta O is greater than P, and you know in this condition pairing will occur, so the unpaired electrons can get paired, and after that your hybridization, and after pairing we have two empty d orbitals in nickel +4 metal atom, which can be used by your fluorine atoms for bonding, and after that the hybridization will be D2sp3, not sp3d2. Okay, so in this case your number of unpaired electrons will be 0. Remember, not 4. This is an exceptional case, friends. Okay, and I explain you why this happened. Because of high energy gap between T2g and Eg, and what is the reason for high energy gap? Because high oxidation state of your nickel +4 metal atom. Understood, friends? Okay, so फ्रेंड्स दिस इज ये थे आपके कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो आपके जैम 2017 एग्ज़ाम में पूछे गए थे कोऑर्डिनेशन केमिस्ट्री से, एंड फिर भी किसी भी तरह की डिफ़िकल्टी आए आपको तो प्लीज़ कमेंट सेक्शन में आके ज़रूर पूछिए फ्रेंड्स. सो थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग.